Hey everybody, welcome back to Midnight Double Feature. Here we are covering Goldeneye. I found his weakness. Thank you guys for joining us. We're going to be doing a commentary episode, and when I say we, it's not just I, the royal we. It is I. Colin Duncan is along for the ride with Danny Hartley. Danny, our at home James Bond expert.
That's cool. I didn't know I earned that title.
Oh, yeah. You've definitely seen more of these than any of us. Zohab's got most of the MCU. You've got James Bond, and I've got horror movies and Stephen King.
Yeah. I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah, it's a wide range. But guys, this is your first time joining us. Thank you very much. We are going to be going through this whole thing. You can press play along with it. And at the same time we do, and kind of like an at-home watch Mystery Science Theater 3000 type thing. If you want to check out anything else of our shows, we do have a Breaking Bad podcast called Bad Crystal. You can find everything really at midnightdoublefeature.com. If you want to become a member of our Patreon, it's patreon.com/midnightdoublefeature. It's called The Green Room. It's $5 a month. You get 2 episodes a month with that, and we've got a backlog of 30 or 40 of them now. So if you jump on that now, you get all of that plus whatever's coming up next. So consider checking that out. Definitely rate and review us on iTunes. If you don't want to sign up for the Patreon, I understand, but rate and review on iTunes. It's free. It takes 5 minutes. We get those 5 stars. It helps out the show tremendously. So check out both of our shows, rate and review them on iTunes. I would greatly appreciate it. But oh, and also there is an E on this motherfucker for a reason. I always forget to say that, and that's my trademark. I got to say that every time. There's an E on this motherfucker for a reason. So we're going to jump into this. Danny and I will kind of talk over the opening credits, but let's get this bitch rolling. You ready?
Yeah, and just to make it really clear to everybody, if you haven't done one of these commentary episodes before, sometimes we do episodes where we just like kind of ambiguously talk about the movie. This is not one of those. This is more like we are going to be hitting play on our copy. And if you'd like to follow along with us at home and kind of laugh and snicker at the same dumb shit that we point out, as everybody loves to do watching a movie, that's kind of the point of this. So our version today of Goldeneye is 2 hours, 10 minutes long. He and I confirmed that before we played this, because we have had, with this podcast being between Australia and America, some variations and differences in versions. So without any further ado, if you guys are ready, we're going to hit play on our version of Goldeneye in 3, 2, 1, now. Let's jump in.
Perfect.
So I appreciate you picking this.
Yeah, dude. Oh,
I was a little surprised.
Oh, dude, this episode and this co-host is one of the reasons I started the show. Like, this is like an episode I've looked forward to for so long. And it's like, if anybody would have thrown out Goldeneye, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll do it. Danny has to be there though. Like, absolutely. Like, there's no fucking way. Like, I just know our history with the game, our history with this movie. And like, I played the game way before I ever saw the movie. You know, I think a lot of billions of kids in the 90s did.
Isn't it funny that like everything is so synonymous, and when people talk about the movie, they almost immediately mean the video game too? It's like if you were aware of one, you were aware of the other one, like in the same sense. When I
Googled Goldeneye 007, it brought up the game first, and I had to click on the film as like a little box.
I Googled just Goldeneye earlier, and it took me straight to the movie. So that's interesting.
Nice. God,
but man, after let's see, I think how many years had it been since they had a Bond film? I think 6 years. The last one that had come out between this one was License to Kill, I think. Mm-hmm. So License to Kill came out in 1989, and then this came out in 1995. So there was like a 6-year gap between Bond movies, I guess. And so they switched, of course, obviously from Timothy Dalton, who had done 2 movies, to Pierce Brosnan for the very first time, who we're getting to see here looking over the dam, or maybe their stunt double, his stunt double.
Pierce Brosnan in air quotes.
Yeah, quote. So,
that's Tom Cruise.
Cool jump, man. Yeah,
that is Tom Cruise. No, I just that was one of my first video game experiences. Was like jumping off the dam in the N64, and like how crazy that was. The concept to me of like, wait, I'm supposed to jump, and they're like, yes, like jump off, and I was like, okay. I was like, oh
yeah, I know that's so true. I love this little gun that he has that kind of just pulls him closer. just immediately makes you feel like the technology in this movie, even though it's like mid-90s, it just has like this sleek, like, you know, like feel to it, I guess.
The fucking gun snaps and he's just like, ah!
Bungee straight back up. Oh my God.
I'm glad he got that grappling hook from Halo Infinite. That's impressive. That technology's not even out yet.
It was 26 years ahead of its time. So this, I hope that somebody else can relate to this, but these are the scenes that stick out to me, not because I like them, but because if you were forced to watch the TV version of this movie that had all the explicit stuff cut out and had commercials in it because you didn't have like a copy of the movie or whatever. I was letting that line play. So, if you didn't have like the real copy of this movie, you had to watch like the TV trimmed version, and there's so many scenes in that are not in the actual full version. So I don't know if that was a staple of other people at the same time, like growing up watching this, but this like got thrown on TV a lot, but it was super fucking edited. So a lot of this was cut out. And so like some of these scenes really stick out because it always makes me feel like I'm watching an extended version of the film, but I'm really just watching like the basic normal fucking version of it. Like this cafeteria scene and stuff, I feel like is not in it.
Right.
It's just weird.
You're like, what did somebody cut in scenes from like Schindler's List in here? It's like a bunch of soldiers and shit. Electro.
Here he is, man. Scene Bean, as I called him probably like 5 years after watching this movie. And then they were like, you mean Sean? I was like, it's Scene. It even rhymes with Bean, so it's Scene Bean. And they're like, yeah, that's cute.
That's what it is, kid. Man, this character was like one of my first when I understood like what betrayal was. Like I understood that like somebody would, you know, that these guys were friends and that they had basically that he had turned bad. And I was like, oh, yeah. And seeing a 00 agent go rogue, it's like, oh, that's awesome.
It'd be neat if that was Dr. Doak walking by. I think there actually is deleted scenes of one of these people perhaps being Dr. Doak, if you understand that reference. In the N64 game, in the harder version of this level, you have to find him to get like a key or something.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's like a little, I don't know. Is that like I think it's on like the harder difficulty. You have to go.
Yeah, like 00 agent and stuff. Yeah, like the really hard stuff.
You ever shoot the scientist in the hand till they pull a gun out on you?
Oh, yeah. I think they pull out, like a DD4 revolver or something.
That was like my favorite handgun in that game. I love the silver. It's so cool.
Yeah, that is true. Wow.
They do a
6 minutes check. I love how it looks like they have done shit together before. Like they've run through and almost like this in a simulation in a sense, because whenever they just perfectly run upstairs, he covers them through the door. This whole gun toss is smooth as shit to me. I don't know why. Seeing them frantically get set up in the room from one view as it pans up to Arumov coming for them is it's so cool. Yeah. I will say it's funny. Like this set the buy me a pint. Yeah. I will say that this like set the bar really high for me. This is, I think, the very first Bond film I ever saw. And then when I went back and saw some of the, this is a cool tracking shot. Yes. I don't know, what do you call that? Or just him like mowing down some people.
I love these guys who just run point blank into him.
Yeah, it's like, thank you, grunts.
Yeah. Well, and what cracks me up is they like shoot through the glass, they blow the door off, and then that one soldier shoots at him. He's like, stop! You blow the gostings. And I was like, what the fuck? You just brought like a small arms from a country in and blew this door down.
That's so true. Oh I guess they were just concerned getting in there, but you're right. It's like, it does tell them not to do that.
Yeah, now that we're in here, everybody be careful. But we were fine behind the glass. I mean, oh my God. I just cannot not think of the game. That's all I can think of is like just sitting there and watching. As a kid, it just blew my mind. I was like, wait, what the fuck? I've never seen this in a game. They were always just running guns. So like actually be in a scene was so crazy. And like being caught was like a new, like, poor bastard.
Blow the gas tanks. That's a good one. So, I just hit. Oh, this squeaking is cemented in my audible memory. Like, I'm almost afraid to talk. Oh, dumbass. I love how he checks him and it's like,
yeah.
Like he checks him and then he just keeps slowly moving again. Oh man.
Oh, I love this. Oh,
did you ever escape on the conveyor belt in the video game versus going through the door? Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So trippy ass shot seeing all those those barrels come down. I always thought the plane was upside down whenever it came through that scene for some reason, but it's just the way the front of the plane has like a weird like scooping in it or whatever. Anyway, weird things that you think about.
Man,
I love how this. What?
I was going to say, it's so unbelievably considerate that all these Russians speak like pure English. It's great. This is like speaking nothing but English the whole time. Running down runways, and I'm running down runways.
So I need to find it later, but I believe there's a YouTube channel that goes into talking about the significance of like the Goldeneye soundtrack. You can already tell it not only in the very beginning, whenever whenever James Bond's like walking across the screen and he turns and shoots it and then like the camera shakes and falls over. It's like the iconic thing in every movie of, James Bond walking across the screen. Like it's really evident in there, but you also really hear it right now. Like this synth heavy soundtrack. It's kind of a little bit quieter now because it's leading up to him jumping off of this. But when he was fighting him a second ago, it is like, it's just super funky and really weird almost for the time for this to be a James Bond soundtrack. But they also incorporated like brass into it. And it was almost like a struggle. Like, I don't even think that they really were on board with doing that, basically. Like almost sabotaging the score in a sense by like combining the two. But it really what makes that land later. So.
Jesus. He just hits it. He just blows up. That motherfucker dead.
Yeah. Well, here we go. I think we're about to get hit with Tina Turner's.
I love the plane noise of every movie where it's like, it's just that same failing noise. It's like the Wilhelm scream.
So him setting it to 3 minutes instead of 6. Huge difference in this whole thing. Boom. I think it makes them think that they have like twice the amount of time and then they comes into play later. But yeah, hell yeah, this fucking theme.
Boom, boom, boom. Oh, sexy as fuck.
So we're going to be talking about this scene. Because we're doing a play-by-play, real recording of this. It's basically we're going to be talking while this is going. So
yeah, you got to sit through the credits with us, bitch.
Yeah, we're going to give you some credits for our own. Just kidding. I did hear that, or I did research at some point that. So this is obviously sung by Tina Turner, the amazing Tina Turner. But this is actually co-written by Bono.
Holy shit! Not. Wow.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Also a lot of fucking cool ass people that pop up in this movie that I did not realize later in life. That was like, wow, that was them. That was them. For some reason, Xenia Onatopp. Ugh, what a bad name.
Yeah.
For some reason, I did not realize for years that was Famke Janssen. That was really surprising to me at one point when I went back and watched this later as an adult. I was like, what the hell?
Jean Grey herself.
Yeah. It's cool to see Robbie Coltrane as Hagrid, right? In the Harry Potter movies. So he's I think that is him. He's in this. It's just so many cool people. Alan Cumming is in this. Just random people.
Joe Don Baker. He's like the Marine, the guy for the American contact.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he's in like Cape Fear. I think he's in like the original Walking Tall. He's in a bunch of. He's one of those faces like you might not know his name right away, but when you see him, he's the American. Yeah, he's like the Russian dude with the shitty car, the tattoo on his ass.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Wade.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Wade. Yeah. So, what's your opinion on these little kind of like opening scrolls? I feel like the Daniel Craig ones were kind of cool because they weren't like as, I don't know, maybe this just is my flavor, but they just aren't as like slutty or whatever. Oh, look, it says right there, Bono and the Edge. It's written by them.
Oh, there you go.
I just not caught that. First time I've ever read that. Like in the movie. I read that on Wikipedia a long time ago. I
can never get over that. The Edge. That man calls himself the Edge.
Yeah, the is part of his name. How do you think he files his taxes? Yeah. Edge, comma, the.
Mr. The?
He didn't stand up.
Didn't Martin Campbell do Casino Royale?
I think you're right. Which, funny enough, is the other feature shameless plug that we did, episode 87, long ass time ago. We covered Casino Royale. Great call, man. Yeah, 2006.
9 years later.
So, this is Moneypenny basically pissing herself while he's driving around.
Yeah, this is Dana Scully's sister from the X-Files.
Oh, that's funny.
God, Gillian Anderson, good lord. Apparently they wanted Pierce Brosnan way back in like the 80s, and they would not let him out of his contract for Remington Steele. And so they just came back to him in 95. And I was like, oh, good on him, man. I mean, he is James Bond to me. Like, he's my Bond because that was the perfect time, you know?
Mm-hmm. I think for a lot of us, I feel like this is our Bond. Like our older generation that made me even want to watch Bond in the first place is like my dad, I guess, or whatever. And his is probably more of like a Connery person. I think he's more into Connery. But this being the first Bond movie I saw, when I later went back and saw him, I might even mention and allude to this in our Casino Royale episode. Like, it's really from here onward that they kind of age pretty, like, maybe okay. But, like, some of the ones before this are, like, rough to watch. Like, the Roger Moore ones are... they're a little rough to watch and they're hard to stomach sometimes. So, like, I would definitely say like the Daniel Craig era is almost like the most rewatchable version of all this. Goldeneye is probably like one of the exceptions that I think is also super rewatchable. So,
is Roger Moore 70s Bond?
I'm so fucked up with years. I think he's in the 80s and the 70s, but yes.
Okay.
He did a shit ton of them. And some of them are kind of cool and like adventurous. I always really like the adventurousness of Moonraker. It's just something really fun about how like globetrotty and like all the different random characters that show up in that. But his other ones are tough to sit through, I think. Sometimes it's funny going back and watching them. So,
God.
So this is where they wipe out an entire biking team.
Yeah, right. This is where they kill 46 people. No, I love the new, like the newer sports car versus like the classic. Like, it's cool. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Also, like this is the image that I want in like racing games, is to be able to weave in and out of these crazy ass mountain roads the way that they are in this. Just seems so fun.
They're European, so of course they're a bunch of cyclists.
Fucking Europeans. No, I'm kidding. Thanks for our European audience. I guess. No.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that they don't really do anything. It's like one dude who just goes like, a Ferrari, and just like falls over.
Whoa, better fall over anyway.
Is that a woman driving? Just like falls over.
Are we European? No,
nice looking.
James Bond always making HR moves.
Mm-hmm.
How do you submit a report to HR if you're hitting an HR?
Right. Well, I just think, she goes to HR and they're just like, James Bond made a very inappropriate move. It's like, yeah, that's what he does. He's had sex with everyone here, even the men.
Even the watering machine.
Right.
How?
He's had 9 kids with 6 staff workers. It's ridiculous.
We have to keep on paying it. That's where all the movies are coming from.
Yeah. They don't even give them the babies are just hooked up to like martinis in the womb. It's ridiculous. God, I just can't get over Famke Janssen. Like, good Lord. I think somebody in one of my favorite comedy troupes, Whitest Kid You Know, one of those guys dated her. And I think like something that one of the other guys in Whitest Kid You Know did, like, made her dump this dude. And I just thought that was so fucking funny. I think, is that a Ferrari? I don't know. I think it is.
Yeah. The one that she's driving, and then he sees right there outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is the Billionaire Evil People's Club.
Are you seeing him pick up a bunch of poker chips in front of her right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just want to make sure our movie's in sync.
Yeah, no.
So, this is such a low-hanging fruit thing to, I think, make fun of in movies, is all the James Bond movies. It's the fact that he plays Baccarat is such a obscure fucking thing, I feel like.
Uh-huh.
And no matter what, in any of the movies, whenever they're playing, I feel like you can't get, like, excited and be like, whoa, because you're fucking clueless how to play this until everybody else at the table is like, oh. Right.
I almost feel like that's intentional so they can just be like, yeah, nobody knows what the hell is going on. Like a real Baccarat player is like, yeah, she just folded and he didn't do anything. Like,
yeah, like if we could micromanage Casino Royale, that was poker, like Texas Hold'em, right? We could at least like understand that. But I feel like this one I'm so lost. See? What the fuck does that mean? All man nodding his head. Is that a good goddamn thing or not? Like, we don't know what's happening here.
He's like, I just loaned you $500,000. He's like, oh, I was just asking you for a stick of gum. You gave me this pack of cards. I don't know.
And here's the flop. 6 of spades. Or clubs?
Yeah,
is that club?
Where do you even see a number on that thing?
I just counted. I counted the samples. Biatch.
Good Lord. So you got to pick one. Her or Natalia?
Her.
3. Yeah, I know, right? I mean, Natalia's definitely fucking, I mean, she's a gorgeous woman, but come on, it's Famke Janssen.
I just love how many different almost characters she plays in this. Like, she's almost different in the car versus different in the casino versus different in the steam house, the bathhouse or whatever, where she kind of like jumps them, but then also sort of has like that weird like grind off with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then even in the forest, like she's almost like basically in her Goldeneye attire. It's like she's jumps in a bunch of different shit in this. I love it.
On the top.
Is she Danish? Like Welsh?
I don't know.
I believe one time I think I saw that. She's born in the Netherlands.
Ah. You for the DMV, bitch? So, here's some interesting technology coming up that we still really even don't have, but probably also don't even have a need for, is that he goes to his car and prints out. We haven't even gotten there yet. I know I'm skipping ahead like a minute, but that's just where it's leading, because he ends up like sneaking through this play and then like taking pictures like a creep. You know, he uses that camera for other weird shit, probably. I mean, probably.
He hadn't even taken it out yet, but you'll know what I'm talking about. So, this thing is super cool. Like that whole like zoom with a camera, and then he ends up printing it from his car later.
But yeah, it's like a fax machine in there.
Yeah, but also such a funny, like, little, like, technology that is, like, what a Bondism for the older ones.
Well, then it's just like, oh, so yeah, this would just basically be like a really good smartphone. Like,
yeah. But also, you would never need to print it off in your car. You could just use that space for just a massive screen to always be like, what was this picture? Okay, let me pull it up again with a massive light up screen instead of like a piece of paper that I print off.
Or I can just use my iPad that I have here in the car. Frigate.
So he appears over there, sees level number, I think, 6 or 7 on Goldeneye, which is frigate.
Yeah.
And also notices that the helicopter there, the Tiger helicopter, is there.
You think her name is a pun on a top? Like she's kind of like uses sex as a weapon?
I hope people listening to the podcast feel the look I'm giving you.
Is it? I don't know.
I feel like every single one of the names in a Bond film that isn't a guy sometimes, that isn't him, is a play on words. Look, on a top.
Lord, yeah, there you go.
So, but like, you've seen some of the older ones too, like where the name is like Pussy Galore. I mean, they're not like beating around the bush.
A lot of vagina.
A lot of vagina.
I loved it.
Yeah, that Austin Powers spinoff.
She's like, she's banging this dude, and it's like, oh, he's definitely going to die. There's no way that this guy is like going to have like adult consensual sex and live through it at the end of this.
It's just crazy that she's like going batshit crazy on him, but he's like so.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. This would be me to a point. Then I'd be like, okay, I'm not a scratching post. Get off of me.
Yep, I guess that's the point. Yeah, then him collapsing out of the closet later. Yeah, who's in this office while they're banging, taking his ID code?
Yeah, I guess it's Alec. It just shows him. He just throws like a napkin in the trash can, and it lands. And then he picks up the thing and walks off. I like to watch. It's weird. It was It was in Sean Bean's contract. Something he had to do. I don't know.
All right, who opens a sliding door like that?
It's like Ace Ventura, and it's like.
I love that he sees somebody sneaking up on him in a door handle reflection and beating the shit out of him with a towel is sort of silly.
Yeah, well, and the first move is like a locker room snap to the face. Like,
I know. Get ready for 7th grade, bitch.
Yeah, he just like gives him a wedgie and puts his head in the toilet.
God damn it. Wow, this looks like you, ma'am.
Right, yeah.
Do you like how they hand him the girly glove and he's like, bald man with a big beard. That's you.
Right. I'd love if the hand was like Zoidberg's claw and he's like, oh, yep, checks out, and hands it back. He's like, leaves. So is the guy disguised? Is there a guy disguised like the Admiral? Because there was somebody next to Xena that had like a beard, looked like the Admiral. And I was like, wait, did he disguise himself? I don't know what the hell's going on.
I never really looked at that, actually. I always thought that Alec was just chilling or something. I don't know how he got in. Maybe he does put on a disguise and get in there. Or maybe that's a different pilot. But, yep, this is scary shit.
Oh! Well, what I love is that when he falls, his mouth is closed. When he lands, it's open. And then there's another cut where his eyes, I just wonder if he just like, so are you messing with me? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. She just broke my ribs.
Just get out. Just get out of my boat. I love that it shows him collapsed dead on the ground. It flashes to a shocked Sean or Pierce Brosnan, and the next scene is just him jumping on the boat and getting the fuck out of there. It's almost like it scares him that much.
Well, and what cracks me up is that it's like, here's our super secret, awesome, helicopter. Everybody look at it. It's like, this is being a bunker somewhere. Like 8 people would know about it,
That's so funny.
T-1000 Terminator looking motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. I like how when they put down their helmets, for some reason it was like
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Password.
So the soundtrack to this, just all the little, boom, like those little, like, almost like, you don't know what to call them, like bells.
Yeah, like ambience.
Yeah, it's just so, I love how that seeps in there. There's so many little elements about it that are just, I don't know, so different to me. It's really hard to recreate.
Yeah, and nobody is like concerned with the man who just tried to bum rush the helicopter.
Oh, look at these huskies. Severnaya. That's just fun to say.
Oh, hell yeah. This mission always scared the shit out of me when I was a kid, though. The first bunker, it's like the sky is all red and you can't see anything for very far. And I was like, I don't like this one.
Isn't there two versions of this level? And the second one is the one where it's like all red and dark and snowy and shit or something?
I think so. There's one where, there's two different ones. Yeah.
Yeah, there's one in the beginning and then you get the club. It's like the first mission where you can pick up the club, but then you realize immediately it's like the worst fucking gun.
Oh my God.
It's like,
thank you.
But it shoots everybody but what you're shooting at. So, can we explain why chair is such a strange thing to figure out here in a second? He's like, later in a second, they end up asking what the password is, and it's chair. I just don't get the significance of the joke.
I mean, I do like, I love Alec Cumming. He's a great actor. And I like the fact that they kind of like the villain. There is like it's not like two Trevelyan's or like two like Robbie Maleks from No Time to Die. It's like a super nerdy like 90s techno like I'm in like hacking a dude.
Yeah, hackers.
Right. And then like a 60s like villain. I was like, okay, I do kind of like that. But I think that a lesser actor, this character would be so fucking annoying. And he is, I mean, but I think that's part of it, that he is supposed to be pretty obnoxious, and like pretty arrogant.
He's got a good balance though. I think it works pretty well. I think it's not, you're right. It's not like borderline annoying or whatever. At least I don't think so, but
hey, him and Famke Janssen both in X-Men too. I forgot about that. He's a good Nightcrawler. Yeah, he's
Nightcrawler, I think, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's good. I am Russian, so everybody in this movie talk like this.
To me, I feel like this is how I thought, this is how, viruses and stuff work probably for a little while in my head, I guess.
Right, yeah. I think the 90s and early 2000s were like, what's the internet? I don't know. People are just like, yeah, you can just do anything on it.
So they can't hang up. I always thought that was funny.
Apparently they're striking somebody. Oh, yeah, Atlanta, Georgia. I was like, that's close to us.
And then
the Pentagon is like explodes.
Yeah. I say that to my wife all the time. Was it good for you too? Just because of how he says it in that. It's just so funny to me. Well, so also, yeah, the entire virus... Huh?
Well, how the hell does he get involved with Trevelyan and does he just happen to be the only... he just goes for a smoke break and he's like, oh, hey, you guys want a third wheel? And they're like, yeah. Or does he already know they're coming?
I don't know. I think later in the movie they say that there must have been an inside man, and then Natalia pieces together that it was Boris or whatever. Or at least we can piece that together, but they infer that there was an inside man helping them. Although you can tell right here that I think they can get in just fine without Boris.
Right. That's what I wonder, if they're just like, oh, we just need a technician who can work Goldeneye, and this guy was...
Yeah, that might have been it. And also he might have just been giving them some inside scoops on shit all day anyway. Hey, today they're doing this. Or, hey, you want me to run this virus that day or something? I don't know. Maybe that's what they were trying to accomplish in this.
We work in the Russian building, so all walls gray. We don't have inspirational poster about cat hanging from phone line.
So I love this massive like key that activates Goldeneye in the background. It's just this massive like metal piece of like technology. Looks so cool. So he brings up that there's two of them.
He just spits in his go.
You motherfucker.
Run.
Like, how many little verifications are there for him to do this? Because he scans a key card to get another key card and then scans it again right when he gets it. Like,
that's not bad.
I love all these little verifications. I feel like if somebody wanted to knock this off in Austin Powers and make fun of this or something, they could have like a 20-minute scene of them verifying on a single code. Like, like it just keeps opening up more panels. Like they put their tongue on there to test it.
Well, also it killed, like, you want a thing that'll work if the person's dead. You just have to put his hand on there. He doesn't have to be alive. It's pretty bad flaw. Like, why did they even make him go get it in the first place? They should have just shot him and just be like, yeah, let's go in here, shoot everybody, and we'll do it. We'll just pour some gas into the vents. Everybody go to sleep.
Yeah, I don't know if he could have gotten that key card out himself.
God, I this feels so much like the game really does a great job for at the time, like really capturing all these like aesthetics, like the big thing on the wall, the TVs hanging from the ceiling.
Yep, the layout of that room is pretty spot on.
Yeah, even the little like different icons around the screen.
Yeah, the computer station I don't think it really matches, but it's still like, man, back then that was like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, who she reminds me of is Brigitte Nielsen, Drago's wife from Rocky IV. She kind of has a...
Oh, okay.
I mean, Rocky IV, good lord. I mean, that short hair, come on, get fucked.
What year did that Rocky IV come out?
84, 86, something like that. 85, maybe.
So it's interesting to see just how intricate, I guess, getting all this setup is.
They're like, oh, it's going to take 20 hours to get into orbit.
I love how, here in a second, their best response time is 19 minutes. They'll be late. Like him being in the command, like chain of command, like he also knows all those like in like specific like standard procedures or whatever inside the military. So he's like, their best response time is 19 minutes, but they'll be late. It's just cool, like that they're, even when they look really subtle, it looks like they're actually kind of like planning ahead pretty well. Also, how do a couple bullets make all the little like things pop out of that vent covering?
Yeah. Well, what cracks me up, she like touches her glove to the coffee and smells it. And it's like, somebody was in here. There's a broken coffee mug. Like, Jesus Christ on rubber crutches, Johnny. Like
she's like coffee from India.
Right.
They're in the vents.
She dips her fingers in the coffee. She's like, decaf. I can tell. With some non-fat, sugar-free salted caramel creamer from Pepperidge Farms.
She bought this from Food Lion.
Yeah. It was shipped from Florida to Delaware around October. Gotta love James Bond in a gray suit. Damn, it's just timeless, man. It looks great. Like, I know the tux is like James Bond's thing, but anytime they rock that like De Niro, Neil McCauley gray suit from Heat, like, I guess grayish.
So, do you have experience with any of the other Bond films, like M, person that is the leader, M?
No, I always thought it was Judi Dench. Like, I didn't know it was a man until much later.
Yeah, me either. And again, like, this is one of those things where you start out watching Pierce Brosnan. I love Money playing hard to get. Oh, I love a bitch. She's the best.
She's like a hotter version of Amy Adams. Like, good lord.
I always feel like there's a little bit of Rachel Weisz to her.
I could see that. The English.
Just a little bit of it. Just like her charm and the way that she just kind of like carries herself.
Yeah.
So, I too also thought that M was always Judi Dench, and then later I found out that whatever the majority of the really like older ones, they are, they're a guy. So, man, she sets the bar high though. I'm gonna go and tell you, like, there's not a single one of the earlier movies with one of those M's that I would take over a second of Judi Dench in this movie. Damn, here she comes.
Oh, here she comes.
I love her entrance, man. So I feel like this technology is insanely ahead of its time, probably for back then. I don't know why. I don't know if that's even a real thing that they had, but it just seems so cool to have this massive room with a TV on it and like a satellite radar telling you where everything is.
It's like not even a satellite radar. It's just like, he's like, I'm a meteorologist. Why are you talking to me about this? It's like,
he's like, there's going to be rain coming in from the northwest, guys. I don't know what you're here for.
What's going to happen, Ollie? It's going to rain. Thanks, Ollie.
So I guess eventually she, I love that diversion of opening up the vent and then hiding in the cabinet. It's pretty cool. But also kudos to her for surviving all this crazy ass shit, man. Because this place gets fucked up after the EMP.
Yeah, like it's almost comical, like how much she survives, like in all of this, and then it's like, holy hell, like it really, like how many buildings, like her and oh my god, Boris, yeah, her and Boris, it's like both of them just surviving, like it almost becomes comical, you know?
Yeah. Does Boris leave in the helicopter?
I guess. She's like, why did I hide for 19 minutes in the cupboards? I could have left. I heard the helicopter. I heard it leaving. I fell asleep in there. It's a Hello Kitty lunchbox.
Hey, this is a badass jump of her,
yes, it is.
Whoever diving into this corner, just sliding in. There's also something so like gritty and raw, but also fully filling about these explosions. Like,
oh yeah,
this whole place blowing up from an EMP made me realize that like this is scarier almost to me than a bomb, almost in a sense, like an atomic bomb.
It's a 90s British movie, so say bloody at some point. Bloody hell.
How many bloodies do we get to say in one movie? This guy roasting to death. Basically getting electrocuted to death. I wonder how that would work.
Yeah, I wondered. I was like, how can does he feel that? Or would the plane just like stop and I think it would just like turn into a rock, basically.
I'm sorry, but the third guy crashing is almost comical. If you see his thing, he's like, whoa, whoa! He's like bobbing his arms around like it's like Robot Chicken.
It's good miniature work, but yeah, some of this shit looks like, good Lord, man.
Oh, that fire coming out of the ceiling, I always thought that was a trippy little shot. Man, this is insane.
She like starts going through her pockets. Do you have any gum?
$5, you cunt.
Yeah. We'll see who gets the best parking spot now, Janice. She like takes employee of the month, like key from her or something.
So, thinking back, I don't really know a lot of female roles in Bond movies before this where you got to really see this much of it. Like it cuts to Bond a couple times to remind you this is a Bond film. I don't know if it's just to kind of, it's just part of it, but she's kind of been the main star of this for probably like, I don't know, I feel like it's been maybe 5 minutes now. This is a really huge setup for I think a female character in a Bond as far as Bond movies go, and it makes you really get attached to just every little dive that she has to do to avoid getting killed. The satellite dish coming down here in a second through the ceiling. But like also her being brave enough to climb that through to get to the like fucking freezing ass cold outside is just insane.
Mm-hmm. God, she'd be an awesome Black Widow. She'd be really good.
Ooh, that is a really good point. I love that point. Oh man, seeing her come out of this shit is insane.
It's the Black Widow origin. She was like, what do they call it? She was
from this.
Yeah, she was part of like the Black Widow project. This is like what she did when she left. She just like went to work for the government, and now she's like, my government betrayed me.
I tried to lay low for a while.
Oh, that looks awesome.
That is such a trippy shot.
A pepperoni pizza's on the way.
So the Thai food's held up on the second floor.
Yeah. Apparently, we shot him out of a cannon on accident. Some kind of training exercise.
So I can't see. Let me be clear. I cannot see a difference with the satellite image.
No.
But when it comes online, Tanner's like, go. Like he immediately is like,
like he acts like the cameras came back off and it was like a picture of Mars. He's like, oh my word, my good God.
The camera got turned around and perfectly zoomed in on us.
Or it's something it's just like a sandwich, and in the middle of it, it's a clown just like looking at it. It's like some unbelievably random image. Good God.
I don't even know how to describe this to the Prime Minister.
Who's been on Pornhub? And just like starts backing up.
Yeah, so here's where they're piecing together that if they had the helicopter, it's EMP proof.
Giannis. Of course you do.
Mm-hmm. It's cool that he happens to catch her on a heat map, like walking away from all this.
Yeah, there had to be well, I guess that'd be Orma, or the general, though, right? He would be the insider, right?
That's true. I guess from that point of view, I thought you meant just specific to Severnaya. But that's kind of what I was saying earlier. Like, he had the access codes to get in and do everything except for almost fire the gun. It seems like somebody else had to do that, or they ran the test so he wouldn't have to do it.
Like as she run towards the dogs and they just like
they
maul her to death. Yeah. We've been out here for 18 hours. We're starving. She eats half of them when she gets stranded. It's like, you asshole.
It was hard surviving out in the wild.
Routine training exercise. I love that.
It's
Iron
so cool
Man
they
really fucking like nailed that when he was like, I can't just say that. And he's like, it was a routine training exercise. It's like cuts to him at a press conference.
Yeah. She sets the tone here so well.
Oh my God.
Like,
really
this
good.
is where people were like, God damn, like, okay, you're in charge. Or here in a moment, we haven't got to it, but her, the fact that she goes, you think I'm an accountant, was just like such an interesting way for her to approach explaining how she does everything, or not that she is an accountant, but just like his perspective on how he thinks
you think I'm a cold-hearted bitch who only likes women and doesn't shave a muff. Well, you're right. But I'll blow your head off here and now.
And when I go home, it's a different life.
Oh, this is good. Yeah, no, yeah, I do. Damn.
God. God.
Oof. She's saying, I'm not done with you, bitch.
Had anybody ever said that to him before?
Right.
I mean, it's like, who do you think you are? Like,
Wow, her eyes are so blue. Holy hell. Was she in Harry Potter at all? I don't think she is.
I don't think she shows up in Harry Potter. I feel like I might have remembered that.
Nah, I'm thinking of Cats.
She is in Cats. I haven't seen that. I just saw the previews and so she was in it. It's like, oh. And they have to remind us they're in Russia. So what are they going to do? Play a Russian marching band theme.
Yeah.
This guy's a great actor. He pops up in a couple other random things. But I don't know. He's cool.
I don't recognize him.
I think he's in something else. I might have to look it up while this whole, like... There's a lot of bureaucrats. Sorry. You know, guys, sometimes when we play these movies, there are some long talking cutscenes like this, so...
This reminds me of Inglourious Bastards. Michael Fassbender's talking with Mike Myers. I love scenes like this where it's like, you know, these. I love these kind of like bureaucratic, like, you know, it's bureaucratic as fuck, but I love the way this ends where he was like the two survivors, and he was like, yeah. I was like, oh,
yeah. You're right. The art of having a good scene like this is like great dialogue and stuff like what you're saying, delivery. So yeah, he blames it on separatists. And yet. Yeah.
Dum dum.
Basically shits himself.
It's a big deal. He ends up killing that guy. Like, you killed the defense minister. Like, damn.
You're right. That did not soak into me until way later when I was older.
Like killing the attorney general. Like,
I know. It's like, God, that's huge. So I will say that I feel like I've never seen Desmond Llewellyn, if I'm saying his
Llewellyn.
I've never seen him and like look more happy. I feel like in a Bond movie than in this one. I feel like his conversation with Pierce Brosnan is actually like a little bit genuine and kind of playful. Because there are a couple times where Pierce Brosnan asks him a question, and Desmond Llewellyn just really, truly looks like he's like, and the rest of it, like he just is truly like thinks it's a funny joke and almost not something that he's just like tired of almost. I just love seeing like he just seems so genuinely interested to me, and for some reason in this little like demonstration.
I love this whole scene. I love him as a character, even in this little bit that he said. But this feels like a scene out of like Naked Gun. You know, like the Leslie Nielsen spoof, like all the shit blowing up in the background and stuff. And like, I love how all this looks before everything was like gritty and dark and gray and stuff. Like this is like a warm, like I feel like there's a microwave with somebody's like leftovers, like in the background. They're heating them up. Like this feels like a nice warm place.
Yeah. But at the same time, how is it that the 3 minutes that James Bond is down here that people keep fucking all this shit up? Like, right. They accidentally do the phone booth. They accidentally shoot the guy out of the chair. You know, it's just everything.
Well, what I'd love if they were just like, yeah, actually, this is this whole place, this is an accounting department. These are all Hugh's pranks that he likes to put up, like the thing in the phone booth and shit.
God damn it, Hugh! Oh, I always sat here and counted and was like, click it! I love that.
They always said the pin was been. It's like they can't remember who clicked what.
This. Look at his reaction.
It's almost like he's had a couple of drinks. I love that hard cut. Oh, yeah. That's so good.
Yeah, Martin Campbell does a great job fucking just directing this. Who is this edited by? Terry Rawlings. Terry Rawlings also responsible for Blade Runner. So his filmography, the one that edited this film, Terrence Rawlings, is credited as a supervising editor on Blade Runner because despite being the film's actual editor, apparently his British citizenship was not allowed to make him a full editor credit because he didn't belong to the American Film Labor Union yet.
Oh, shit.
So the guy that edited this edited Blade Runner, but he doesn't get credited for it perfectly because the union rules didn't let him at the time. So you want to hear something super interesting?
This is a real tattoo?
After this scene, they fuck. No. No. Real talk, though. So this actor that plays...
Jodan Baker?
Is that his name?
Yeah.
So he is one of the few Bond actors to ever be in a Bond movie as one character and then come back in a different Bond movie as a completely different character, as a completely different thing. And because in the Timothy Dalton movies, he's one of the main villains up to the near the end of one of those two movies.
Oh, that's cool.
Then in this movie, he works for the CIA and is a complete good guy. And I don't know if you've really recognized this, but he's in other Bond movies after this with Pierce Brosnan in it, like Tomorrow Never Dies. And he helps him in that too. It's like perfectly consistent. He's like the Felix, essentially, of the Pierce Brosnan movies.
Felix like the cat?
Yeah, like the cat. No, like, you know how in the Daniel Craig movies, Felix is as Daniel Craig, it's like his right-hand man that randomly is the American inside person that shows up all the time.
Right. It's a guy from Westworld.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So I can't recall his name right now. Also, I wish that cars worked like that.
Yeah.
I've worked on cars for a long time. And that's just not how you... That's just so funny.
I remember that from Statue. You could go find him in like those little cargo things. You know, like you could actually go see him. I always shot him in the leg at least once just to see his reaction.
That's so funny. I gave him the limp. So yeah, he's one of the few actors in all the James Bond movies to come back as a completely different person, and like, because usually it's hard to fuck that up, you know, like that continuity they try not to screw with very often, but he got around it somehow. I love when he starts hearing that she's got a huge order, he starts straightening his tie.
Right. Oh, let me appear more professional. Good Lord, she is like ridiculously gorgeous, though. Like, good God Almighty.
So I didn't realize it until later, but he's already in the back of the train in this.
Oh yeah. That's interesting.
But yeah, he's got some funny ass sweater on. Has a bunch of peace signs all over it.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be funny if in the middle of this, who types like that? It'd be funny in the middle of this, it's just like it starts connecting the dial up again.
Good Lord. Everything except the interruption. Oof, I don't know. I might be going to Team Natalia now instead of Xena. I don't know. They'll bring Xena back up, and I'm like, oh, can I double dip? Is that a thing? Like,
I love the image that he paints for him here in a few seconds before he gets out of the car, and he's like, the last person that came to visit him left in very small boxes. Also, the shot of them in that car, broody looking, is so funny.
That makes me think of K2SO when he was like, do you guys want to know the survival rate? It's very low.
It's like, it's really low. Yeah, that's so funny.
I love that she like crawled through the fucking the wilderness and was just like, and I came back and got a sensible but fashionable outfit for our era. I bid you welcome. She just turns into Dracula.
When I went to Severnaya, I dressed like soccer mom. But when I came back, I dressed like superhero.
Yeah. I rock killer soccer bod mom. Or soccer mom bod. Nobody noticed in Russia because we always had big coat.
Yeah, not conspicuous at all when she just books it running down the aisle here.
Yeah. I love God! She's like running. I love you so much.
She just starts running.
We're in Russia now, so she have big Russian hat.
Oh God, this performance.
Oh,
That's so
Jesus.
Yeah, this is an American song, I guess, if you guys don't know that. Right?
By your man.
These henchmen trying to correct him while he's talking to him is almost comical to me.
Yeah. All the other guys speak like Russian. They're like, we don't know. We don't know what
he's like, I'm not paying these guys this afternoon. And they're all like, I'm
going to go back and shoot all of them in the back of the head. Very lovely girl. Yeah, very talented. That's crazy as Hagrid.
Yeah. He's great in this though, man. He's another recurring character in the Pierce Brosnan movies. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I did not. Does he? What other does he pop up in Pierce Brosnan ones or older ones?
He shows up in another Pierce Brosnan one. The World Is Not Enough. He's got like a pretty significant role in that one too.
I heard that one's kind of
honestly, there's parts of that one that are actually really cool. I feel like it was filmed and feels really fresh compared to some of the other ones. But yeah. So him kind of like initially you could say like sparing his life out of professional courtesy is really the only reason I think he gets in here without immediately getting killed.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something. Okay, so you see how he immediately flashes to Bond chilling in this lounge chair, and like, he's walking around getting drinks, he's walking around getting drinks for him. Like, I always loved the fact that there's like an element of him that he can just sort of like sneak into even the enemy lines and still be able to sit down and have a drink with them.
Right. Like he just kind of finds like what that, because I love the line. It's supposed to be kind of funny. Oh, this free market economy is going to kill me or whatever. So
yeah, he knows the death of me. Yeah.
Right. So he knows his pockets are getting hit. So he's like, we'll work that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Super interesting.
So they were Nazis who fought against the Russians in the war, but they were Russian Nazis, I guess?
It was like they were almost essentially defectors of defectors, it seems like. And the way that the British government handled it back then when they were caught was they were like caught and hung, I believe.
Well, yeah, I guess instead of like, them joining the British government, they just let them sit in their own backyard, I guess what it sounds like. But like, so are Trevelyan's parents Nazis?
His parents were Leanne's Cossacks. And,
okay,
and so whenever the British government kills them, he is orphaned. And then the Secret Service takes him in, essentially, or whatever. And so you kind of make that connection with how, like, a lot of times it's supposed to be you're essentially like an orphaned. You're probably an orphan.
He better hurry up that swim. They're shooting a porno there at 4:00.
They're shooting it there right now. Did you see it floating in the pool?
And the back, it's like the scene with Q in the background. There's like a dude just fucking pounding. Like it's like two dudes pounding. It's a very Greek kind of porno. Oh, good Lord. Ugh. You know what? I can't look at Pierce Brosnan like that, like wet with the slick back hair, and not think of Mrs. Doubtfire. It was a drive-by fruiting, dear. Oh, help
dear.
is on the way, dear.
Hope is on the way, dear. Oh man, this is Doubtfire. It's such a great movie.
Oh, God.
She's such a nympho in this. It's so weird. I could not piece this scene together as a kid. I was like, is this sex?
Yeah. He breaks her nose. She's like, oh, fuck.
Combo breaks her. This is so funny to me. Is her intent to kill him?
I guess, I don't know.
Because this sends super mixed signals to me.
Yeah. I was like, is he being like forced into kissing her right now? Or is he like, well, if I'm already here.
I love how it's this guy coming in. We didn't even get...
No. Ugh. I love that.
Okay. So, the tone of the movie, I feel like, is just so, like, this adds on, after this moment on, I feel like a layer to the movie that just makes the rest of it so fucking cool to me. And it's essentially like the cool ass reveal of him being betrayed.
Well, I'm kind of confused. Why did he go to Hagrid if he uses her to go to Yanis? Does Hagrid set up the meeting with her? And that's got to be it. That's got to be that this is a meeting, like basically that. Because I'm just trying to make sense of that. I think that Hagrid set up
the meeting between
her
them.
to meet Bond, but like I don't know. It's the scene plays out like she doesn't. I don't know. I that scene plays a lot weirder than that.
I think maybe he sets up the meet, and then whenever Xena goes there with a henchman, it was probably to stop Bond from fucking around with their plans anymore. But probably once this happened, like he forces her to drive back and all this shit. It's like, I guess he has to finally confront him and confront him. Alec finally. He's like, oh, well, I guess I gotta tell him. That's a kind of an interesting plot point.
Yeah, this is another level that scared the shit out of me.
Yes,
when I was a kid.
I hated this. Is one of the levels I hated the most. Actually, it's doing this on the hardest mission, trying to go to the gate, go get the black box, and hope that it's at the closest spot, and come right back to the gate. So good. Sean Bean delivering all this is just what solidifies it to me. If I don't talk a lot in this, it's because I just really like this whole dialogue.
Me too. Absolutely. Oh, such a good shot. James like shoots himself in the face. Like, God, did you expect that? I like this music that's playing. Bum, 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 bum,
Yeah, not a
bum.
lot of piano pieces snake into Bond movies. We're kind of getting the end of this, I know, and it's gonna pick up here in a second with the whole helicopter scene. Yeah. I never thought that was a dart for the longest time. It always looked like blood coming out of his neck. And then I was like, how the hell does James Bond survive neck shots? That's bullshit. I realized it's like a sleeper dart or something.
I love there's like an archer like way off in the back shooting tiny darts.
This is such a funny wake-up call for him.
Hi, this is your alarm. It's like his Siri is a screaming Russian woman.
I just to call back while he's like frantically freaking out about this. I love the whole, well done, good job, but sorry, old boy. Everything you risk your life and limb for has changed. That's such a great delivery by Sean Bean, him saying that about.
Yeah.
Just, it's so great.
Well, and I think this is like become like an Uber trope of like James Bond movies. I think if you like pick a lot of these, you can't really pick a lot of these movies apart for like plot because it's not really like, this isn't Inception, this is like these are like the spy like genre is its own like kind of thing. They're like action spy films, but I love in these movies that they drugged him and put him in a helicopter to blow him, like this elaborate thing. When it's like, I'd love if they were just like, okay, we drugged him. What do we do now? It's like, yeah, just shoot him in the back of the head. Like we don't need him anymore. Like let that just be the end of it. I think there's a whole Austin Powers bit about that where he's like, oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And Seth Green is like, I have a gun in my room. It will take 5 seconds.
Seth Green is saying that, I think. Yeah. He's like, I have a gun in my room. We'll shoot them together.
Yeah. I feel like the Daniel Craig ones don't really do that, though. I feel like they don't really have these elaborate, like, I'll tell you everything I'm about to do and then I'll leave you to die, assuming that it happened.
Man, sometimes I feel like it creeps into all of them. But you're right, the Daniel Craig ones, I think, have the most of the time where after something happens, he's getting debriefed and they're like, we found blah, 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 and this is what happened to him, and blah, blah. And you're like, oh, like you're learning as he's learning. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and also they're a lot more straightforward in those movies too. You're right. Like sometimes there are just times where they just kill him instead of talking.
I like how all like the Russian government shows up, like they know what the fuck is going on. We saw the rockets 18 seconds ago and showed up.
We have nothing else better to do.
We were next door at bar playing darts with potatoes.
So another classic level. I can't help but think about levels when I'm seeing shit in this.
We have at my family house growing up, somewhere we have a VHS tape where we were playing N64 and like connected the VCR and recorded a tape of us playing Goldeneye, and it's this level. I was like, oh man, like that, but that's probably 20 years old. Probably not 20 years old, but it's actually probably older than that. And I would kill to like find that tape, but I gotta buy a VCR, not a VHS player.
There's a whole Cowboy Bebop episode about a VHS player being super significant to the storyline, and they have to go and like to old Earth essentially and find a VHS, like a VCR player. Like they have to go find a VCR so they can play their VHS tapes. It's really funny.
Oh man, the set design is so good. Man.
Cinematography by Bill Mayhew.
Bill Mayhew. That name's very familiar.
Bill Mayhew.
Oh, Phil Mayhew.
He did the same cinematography for Casino Royale too.
Oh, nice. I guess director knows what he wants. Yeah, probably. I don't know.
I mean, let's get it out of the way now.
They come in and they're just like fucking smashing. He's like, that was the record. You've only known her for 42 minutes.
No chit chat. I love this little exchange he gets into with him.
Boys with toys. And being that this is Russia in the 90s, he just like smacks the fuck out of her. He's like, how dare you talk back to me? Yeah.
Don't talk out of turn.
She would also be a great Marilyn Monroe. Ana de Armas. I think she's actually playing Marilyn Monroe in a movie.
I can see that.
Speaking of Bond.
Really like her. Speaking of Blade Runner, like 2049.
I also just woke up from a nap.
This is so cool to me. I don't know why. Him explaining the headline to him as he's like talking to him. Do you understand that? Like,
yeah,
his basically like reading
shit.
the report out loud of what he'll write down later. It's like, Defense Minister Michigan was killed by James Bond, and then he was shot while trying to escape. Like, that's so great.
Like he's like, oh shit, I've got to shoot him really quick.
But like he's piecing it together while he's looking at him. It's just so cool to me.
Man, they do a great. Even the doors look exactly like they do in the game. It's such great level design.
Love the score that comes in here. That's simply just going.
Yeah.
Oh man, the archives that they run into are so cool. This is a neat ass scene to me. So you remember me earlier mentioning in the beginning how the soundtrack was a bit controversial and a little bit different in the making of behind the scenes of this, in the sense that they had that really like electronic-y sound that was trying to get the 90s vibe, but at the same time,
like
it also has like a brass sound. Like, it's still the score to this here in a minute will have like a brass like accompany behind it. And initially, whenever they had it, it was just the technical digital sound to it, and then they actually had to like reshoot or like re-edit this movie to see it with the full soundtrack of like the horn brass section in the background too, and it really completed it. This like not that, but you there's hinting at it that dun, dun.
God, I mean, I know parts of this movie don't hold up, but this all looks. It's still shot on film. It's practical effects. It's like, God, this looks fucking
running
great.
Through aisles and aisles upon aisles upon aisles about binders and boxes of like paper and shit. It's just insane to me to think about. Like,
and they hold her down. He gives her like a wet willy.
Tell me the codes. Okay, not that.
What cracks me up is he steals a tank from like an army base in Grand Theft Auto, basically, and that like nobody gets in another tank to like oppose him.
Yeah, his star level from this is flashes a 1 for a second. Okay, so this is the scene that they were trying to like tell you that Bond was back. Okay, like after 6 years or whatever, it's him bursting through this brick wall. And at first, they did it with only like an electronic soundtrack's background to it, but then they had to go back and put the brass that you'll hear.
Nice.
So imagine that just being like pew 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 pew, like really 90s soaked in synthesizers. Yeah. So it immediately dated the film, I think. So them putting that brass in there was kind of a big thing, I guess. So that's like one of the only kind of main behind the scenes sort of things of this I might know about.
Well, yeah, and I love that nobody decides to get in a tank and oppose him, and he's like Tokyo drifting around in this thing.
Dude, whoever is the tank driver for this is nailing it. It's insane how like great of a driver they are.
And Russian tanks are fucking no joke, man. Like, those tanks were notoriously like difficult in battle. Like, they were extremely tough.
That's so funny. I love how it's this sense of, I don't know, it has a really great James Bond, I guess, like, there's a lot of, like, there's funny things about, like, almost the James Bond personality that I almost don't like, but then there's a lot of things about it that's, like, improvising and, like, how he improvs and shit that I just love,
right.
Like, how, like, resourceful it is, that, and it's really apparent in the Daniel Craig ones and the parkour scenes. You see the guy elegantly sailing through the wall gaps, and then Daniel Craig just bursts through the drywall. It's sort of like what he does with this, in a sense, right? Instead of him like chasing after him in another dinky car, he gets in a tank and like moves everything out of his way to keep going.
Yeah, well, and I love that the oh, holy shit. I love the fact that pretty much this whole movie has been like espionage. There's only been maybe one shootout at the beginning, you know, a couple of like cool kills here and there. And there's like the Severnaya thing. But like he basically knows when it's like, OK, now I have to have this woman in order for any of this to work. And now's the time to like really fucking shed some blood and like go crazy and start, you know, don't get me wrong. He killed like 16 people on the first floor of that apartment building when he plowed through it.
Oh, yeah. He rolled over some like cribs for sure. You know,
yeah.
Like,
yeah, he hit like a it's like this is all a hospital for sick children. He just like took out the ground floor.
Or almost like drive through the orphanage, and James Bond's like, well, gotta blow it down. Gotta blow down this random pointless building to get it out of my way.
Another incredible level, streets. Oh, dude. Because when I was a kid, I'd just run the whole time, and then finally somebody was like, "There's a tank.
Yep,
you can take." I was like, "Oh, dude."
The rocket launcher noise is always really cemented in my brain of just that whistle of people shooting.
Like that weird, like
yeah, it's just a very just super distinct whistle. And like, come on, y'all! Like, what did you think you were gonna do to stop this tank?
Right.
Like these little dinky police cars that are like, "Whoa, shit, man!"
Yeah, I like how he runs over half of it, and the cop gets out like, "Whoa, that was close." It's like, no, you're dead.
Shameless Perrier plug right here.
Perrier, yeah. You ever had that shit? Pretty good.
I might have sipped on it before. Vincent D'Onofrio gets out of the driver's seat.
I was like, James Bond just grabs one that's like
that's what I needed.
Yeah.
it's like horribly like plugged.
Yes. It's like those old 90s like Briss iced tea like claymation commercials they would do.
The name's Air Perrier.
Yeah. Perrier.
Hey,
Perrier.
So,
I kind of wish Natalia would take the flask and like take a sip. Like, I think
he
she's
gives
kind of
her a
thinking
look,
about it.
but then totally cool with it.
She's like, "This is raspberry Kool-Aid. It takes the edge off. I am a diabetic."
There's nothing in there, and she's like, "You need help." He's like been drinking nothing this whole time. It's like
he's not even a general.
Did you find these at a Hobby Lobby?
Yeah.
Is this badge
the medals are made
of
cheese? The train too. The train looks incredible.
Dude,
just like the
that
game.
train is badass. I wish I could just like drive that thing to the grocery store for no fucking reason.
And like the face that's not a face, but is definitely a face, like on the front of it.
I know.
I love that. This tank like slowly pulling into frame, like it's like Michael Keaton in Batman Returns, like just kind of going around Gotham in the snow. He pulls up like every breath, boom, 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 boom.
Well, let's
boom,
be
boom,
honest.
boom,
This
boom.
windowless fucking black sex toy of a train doesn't have any windows enough for them to be able to look up and see him crossing a bridge that I don't see in that scene anyway.
This train is so ominous. Like the train that delivered people to concentration camp gas chambers was happier than this. Like this thing looked. It's like if Voldemort was a train. Like this thing is just awful.
This piece of shit food. The chef is behind them. It's like, don't fucking throw the food down.
My souffle. She picks up a chair. She's like, "I got it."
These workers see that train going by and they're like, "Jesus Christ, it's back!"
Right.
The Ravager.
The black car of death. It's like an old folk tale. It's like,
I like how he's like, we used to share everything. To me, for some reason, the train looks like it gets longer and shorter. Second question, real quick. How did he get so far fucking ahead of them to do this?
Yeah.
He had enough time to go to City Hall and get a map of the train tunnels.
Oh, and I love the fact it's almost like a race in a video game where you just go the opposite way to hit the cars head on.
Xena's in the background, like,
Yeah, right. Yeah,
it's my kind of flavor. I love how the big radar dish next to him, you can't see, barely had a view on the glass, is like the same thing on Star Wars A New Hope, that they're like tracking somehow with a light, with like a flashlight. They're like, pew, pew, pew. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do those fucking things even work?
Yeah, they really blow my horn in case you can't see us.
Dude, this would scare the shit out of me, being in a train gliding into something like this.
Oh, dude. And shooting the front of that train, holy fuck. I feel like that would just kind of derail everything right then and there, but okay. And he's like not a safe distance away at
I know.
all.
He jumped out of the train and walked 10 feet over to the side,
Yeah.
but when it showed him later, he was like a football field away from the tunnel. Man, how much shit can she survive? Yeah. She's dude, the real James Bond.
She gets up, she's like, I'm getting too old for this shit.
That's great how she stands up all fucked up.
And that's when you shoot him in the back of the head.
It flashes the arm off and he got impaled on like a piece of wooden chair. Yeah.
He's like cut in half looking at Natalia like he's in bed.
She's just sitting there face fucking him.
Yeah. Oh. I like going back to the fact that he's not a real general and he's like kind of crazy. It's like a water pistol. Like everything about Ourumov is like something kind of childish. Like
the iron-on patches that he got for his uniform are like slowly coming off.
Yeah, he goes from talking, my name is Gary. I live with my mom. I just kind of fell into this about a year and a half ago.
Are you guys redeeming parking passes?
Yeah. Can you guys help me out and validate this? Restaurateurs, damn. Did you ever play this part and shoot, like, because you have to kill Ourumov, basically. You can't shoot like 006 or Xena. Mm-hmm. But if you shoot Ourumov and you hit Xena, or I think you hit Trevelyan, it actually buys you like a few more seconds.
Because they shudder or something?
Well, actually, there's like a line of like dialogue. You can't hear it, obviously. In 64, it's all subtitled. Mm-hmm. But Xena actually is like, oh, here, Trevelyan, let me help you with that. Mm-hmm. And like it buys you a couple extra seconds. So it's like, oh, shit. It's like that game has so much shit. That's
cool. Yeah, its sequel game, Perfect Dark, is the exact same thing as Goldeneye. They just had to make their own original storyline, essentially, because they couldn't keep using the license and right. So yeah. But they use the exact same engine and gameplay and everything. It's like if you picked up Goldeneye and then you picked up Perfect Dark, you would not need any indication or like block through. You'd be like, oh, I got it. So the cool thing though is there's a lot of really cool Easter eggs hidden in that as well, where it's like, hey, did you know if you actually like going through this door instead of that door and then talk to him instead of going through the first, it's like makes a massive difference later in the game. Like there's things that you can do sometimes in Perfect Dark in one level that affects things in the next level. Like items or objects will or will not be there, which was huge for the N64. I feel like at the time to like have that kind of foresight and planning in the levels.
No, absolutely. It's like those little things were, especially for what, 95, 96 when that game came out, or I guess Perfect Dark was a little later.
Perfect Dark was later, and I might be getting it wrong, but I think games like Fable or the Elder Elder Scrolls games also take previous same game data. Mass Effect. I think those games definitely take previous save game data, and it affects the next game. Which, so, like, I feel like it took a long time for that to be a regulated thing, but anyway.
Man, Fable. I can't wait for another Fable game.
So, like, the easiest fucking password ever that just fucking cracks me up. I feel like I want to make my password to everything chair. Like,
right, yeah, chair.
Just to be ironic. I love
What's your
this.
second child's middle name? Chair. Jonathan Chair Hartley.
I love how him pulling out all the circuit boards manually. You can tell it just feels frantic on both ends. Is she running in heels?
Yeah. I'm not sure, but I love that they run so much farther than he did when the fucking tank hit a train head on. He's like, there's like a local bomb in here. We got to run. She's like, you played chicken with a train, dude. Come on. Yeah, I think I destroy that. Wait till I get in your pants. I'll fucking destroy that shit.
There's other trains coming through. Jesus Christ! Like creating like a 3,000 car pilot.
It's like a Japanese bullet train. It's like the worst, fastest possible thing happened. Again, I don't even think they have like it been I don't think that she actually knows his name. Like he has not been like, hi, my name is James. Like everybody else has been calling. Like you have no idea. This is like 1995. Freddie Mercury just died a few years ago. Like the AIDS epidemic is ripping through. Like, good God Almighty.
He's like, don't worry about the burn.
What? Yeah, don't. By the way, don't get tested after this. I am Russian. We have everything. No. Oh wow, that is gorgeous. What is this called? Jungle? Is that the map in Goldeneye?
I think so.
I think that eventually takes place. Jungle is a weird one, but what I love is the fact that there's time for like, I don't know, like makeup and hair and designer clothes, and it's like you are fighting a like underground secret war right now. Like that's just crazy. And I get it. He, he obviously went back to MI6 because he's got the BMW and stuff. But it just, I don't know. It just cracks me up. It's like there's time for like a very sensible yet fashionable outfit. It just cracks me up. Hey, Bond, do you like my plane? It's made of cheese. Gouda Havarti. It's made of cheddar. A dead body falls out of it.
It's a bunch of like cocaine in the back. He's like, you're running that for me later, right?
Yeah, I'm in the CIA. We brought cocaine. Who do you think introduced crack to LA? He can't even get her name right, but he's about to be balls deep in her. That's incredible. It's fucking incredible.
So, we haven't gotten to it yet, but he says, you're looking for a dish the size of a football field, right? Doesn't exist. It does exist. Yeah, so, for the longest time, I always couldn't figure out if this is real, how they did a lot of this. There's a couple of the shots in the movie that make no sense because they're doing like reverse draining of it. It's so it makes it look questionable. But anyway, it was a real satellite dish that they had in the Caribbean somewhere, but it actually just got decommissioned. I believe it was like last year, 2020, or this year, 2020, or God, it's 2022 now. I think it got discontinued in 2021 officially. Like they took it down. It hadn't been used in a really long time. It was falling apart, but it did look like this. Like this is it and everything.
Yeah, I think that's in like Contact with Jodie Foster.
Oh, they have it in the Contact too?
I think it is, but yeah, I think that scene just happened because I love that. He's like, look for the side of football field. Doesn't exist. Like I love Joe Don Baker's.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now it's like, you got to be careful, James. He knows you're coming. He's like, well, I better sit on the beach for about 35 minutes and think about it while she comes out in a very, very affordable bikini.
Yeah. Where are all these suits coming from?
Yeah. Oof, yeah, I might have to be Team Natalia now. I saw that belly button. I was like, I give.
Yeah, I mean, it is that simple.
I like how they're just like in love now. That's incredible.
It is weird how they're having like a couple's argument on the beach.
Jesus Christ. This might be the worst scene in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty bad. I don't like. The thing is, I think what some of these movies suffer from, and what I think they did really good with the first one with Eva Green, and that whole thing, like that felt tragic as fuck.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing that made James Bond become James Bond. But it's like, dude, we know that it's going to be, Denise Richards or Tia Carrera or Halle Berry. It's going to be somebody else in the next movie. So like, I don't care. You're not in love with her. Like that would actually be fucking incredible if in the next movie, like he goes to bang somebody and he's like, and he's just like tapping a ring on his finger. He's like, I'm married Natalia from the last one. You think I'm giving up on that? I've been wrecking that fucking Berlin Wall for weeks.
Yeah, I'm always just so ready to get past this entire thing because her character development, I feel like, is really awesome in Severnaya. And then with this, it's just like the typical James Bond shoe-in of like some type of like just showing that he slept with her or he was in bed with her naked kind of thing.
Right,
just
yeah.
Like,
it's obligatory.
Yeah. This is a pretty cool shot of him flying around these islands here. I always thought to myself, like, how the actual fuck do you not know this satellite dish exists?
Right.
Because with Google Maps existing now, like, they would have accidentally taken a picture of it being drained like 200 times at some point.
Yeah, right, yeah. Uh-huh. It's just like a map with crayon drawings.
Yeah. It's a map of a different set of islands.
It's like the back of a Denny's menu. It's just like a kid's like menu adventure thing.
Or it's like Waze. It's like, slow down. There's a police officer up here. Slow down.
Thank God nobody lets me direct a movie. That's the shit that I would ruin. I want to make $100 million movies and put shit like that.
Yeah, me too. I kind of want a Mystery Science Theater 3000, only specific parts of a movie, but have the rest of it super serious, like so that it makes the other parts kind of quirkier and funnier. Because for them to be super serious and then for him to like look at a map of the islands and it just be like a map of like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Yeah.
She's like, there's a garage up ahead. We can pull in there and repair plane.
That's cool.
It's kind of cool to see that like slide in.
It's like, congratulations, you've on a successful mission, 007. However, you started the worst rainforest fire in the history of mankind.
You landed on the last bird of
a
species.
You landed on the last dinosaur that is ever recorded. And of course, she's unconscious. She couldn't possibly pull him from the plane.
Yeah, I think she survived more shit in this movie than he has.
Mm-hmm.
So,
not a scratch on him. Incredible.
and then in a fever dream,
Yeah,
he woke up.
He laid down on a bed of opium leaves and just like absorbed it through the skin.
I always thought it was going to be the fox from that Simpsons episode that's like Homer.
You know who that is?
We talked about this before. It's a really famous person, but who is it?
Yeah, it's Johnny Cash.
That's right. I was going to just guess Johnny Cash. God damn it. I should have just said it.
And he's like chewing on his leg. He's like, hey, stop that. He's like, oh, sorry. It's like, that's incredible.
It's so cool that he did that. Her sliding down on that plane is so fucking cool. Like on that rope and coming down and kicking him in the fucking chest.
But his stupidly like, what's that? Like his
like,
look up like,
Do you think Famke Jensen was like, it's so funny licking Pierce Brosnan's face? Like, do you think that it would be funny if some of this wasn't in the script?
Yeah, oh yeah, she just like ad-libbed it.
Yeah, all the weird freaky.
If I were a heterosexual female actress, I mean, come on, Pierce Brosnan. Yeah, she's knocked out again. Oh, her death is pretty brutal, though. But you know, she's like coming to death.
Yeah, she's like, this is so Valhalla.
She's just like coming and dying for the last like 20 seconds. Well, and dude, she dies on a tree that's like looks like a vagina. It's like a big V. I'm like, come on, dude.
That's so good. Okay, another level. Did you know I was going to say that?
No, I was just gonna say it's incredible. They have this like like it's like they shoot The Office here. Like there's people walking around like it's a 9 to 5. They have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I'm gonna program that satellite to kill thousands of people, and then go get some Wendy's on the way home.
But this is a fantastic Control. Oh my god, it's one of the hardest missions though. When you had to protect Natalia.
I remember that Marcellus and I were going through the game at the same time, and then he had a brother that played that was older. That of course, like that's always your key. It's like, hey, could your brother beat it? Your brother couldn't beat it? Okay, damn. Yeah. So like that was always a gauge, right? So at the time when we were like fucking 5 or whatever, not being able to beat this level, he told me. I remember the day that like we got on the bus one morning to go to school, and I was like, hey, what's up? And he's like, hey. Last night we beat this mission. He's like he didn't beat it, but he got past the step in this mission where Natalia is hacking the computer and you have to hold off all the guards that are coming down the stairs. Yeah. It was like that was just too difficult of a thing to wrap our heads around at the time. I think now
there's like 3 different staircases and like
then they also start shooting from glass and they start appearing from behind glass later in different stages. So you have to kind of like, you know, now as we've gotten older and play games a lot, like it's probably pretty straightforward, but like at the time that was like Dark Souls in a sense. Like it was like we couldn't get past it, even though like Mega Man at the time was like way fucking 1,000 times harder than that. But anyway, I remember when he was like, we got past that stage where she's doing the computer, and when we paused it to zoom in on the watch, we got shot and it killed us, and like that was the last little bar of health. And I was like, oh my God. Like, it was so funny. I was talking about it. So this was,
This kills me. They linger on this thing draining forever.
And then they show a reverse shot.
Cares?
Then they show a reverse shot near the end of it draining. Do you understand that? Like, the physics of that make no sense.
No, and it looks terrible.
It looks so awful, and always perplexed me why they kept that in there, because they could have shown less of that draining, and I still would have been in awe of this.
Right, yeah. Like I don't know. That definitely does. Like, you know, and are all these people underwater? Where do they work? Like, it reminds me of the Simpsons episode where Homer doesn't realize that he's working for Hank Scorpio.
Yep.
That he's like a Bond villain.
Yep, that's so funny. Your profile picture.
Yeah, he is my profile picture. I love that. He's like, which one do you prefer, Homer, Paris or France? He's like, Italy or France? He's like, Italy. He's like, or he's like, France. Or no, which one should I blow up, Italy or France? He's like, France. He's like, nobody ever says Italy, and like blows up France. He's running through signal of the satellite. Ooh, man, that is some major.
I wanted this as a theme park at some point. The ability to slide down a massive fucking like. Whee!
Yeah, can I just get inside a big donut, please?
Yeah, this looks fun as shit to do.
Oh, there is a tear. That's terrible. Oh, it's terrible.
Random
the headphones
grunt.
in. That sounds awful. You look over. He's got his finger in her ass all the way down. Calm down, dude. So, who built this thing?
The Russians?
In Cuba?
Well, the Russians and Cubans, I think, had an alliance in the Cold Wars. But, so
yeah, I guess
that's why sense. It's all like that's why they're all related here. Save the Queen. I love the set of him walking around this whole thing. It's like one of my favorite Bond like layer sets, I think.
Yeah, I like the different like blue hues and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That soft kind of, it's very like True Lies, very James Cameron.
Ooh. Man, that's a good. This does have a very True Lies feel to it. That's a good one to point out.
Yeah, definitely these inside like interior shots definitely feel like it. Oh, the remote mines.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I loved those things. But as a kid, I could not figure out like the proximity mines, the time mines. There's like a few different ones.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me. There's like nothing on them, but they pull out like a payday, like a candy bar.
Anything's a weapon.
He bites it. And, he bites it and just blows everybody up.
Nobody notices that like leaking.
Dude, yeah. No one's like, hey, does anybody smell gallons of fuel being spilled? Anybody? No, okay, fine. It's probably just me.
There's no like tray around it. Like to protect it. I don't know why we're pointing out these weird these things, but
I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I wanna taste it. Boris, turn that off. Oh, sorry.
How will we keep up with Boris? Let's put a kooky Hawaiian shirt on him. He's the hacker.
Why does he give a shit about Natalia? Like, I guess he's like, where's the girl? Like, he needs her. I'm like, why do you give a shit? I mean, she's running around here by herself. You have James Bond. Like,
because Aramov also had brought up the point that she was one of the only loose ends of this whole thing. It's like they didn't even know she escaped, kind of thing. So she's like the wild card that they always are like worried about. She's also probably aware of how to turn it off too.
Yeah, I guess so. But I also, I guess for Oromov, it doesn't really matter, because he's fucking dead.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. This feels weird to me that it's like they're robbing like these Bank of England and they're gonna Goldeneye it, and they're in like 19 minutes, and they're worried. I guess her shutting it off is what they're worried about primarily. But I don't know. It just seemed weird to me. Like, what do you give a shit? Let her run around. Just shoot her in the back of the head. Just shot these people 5 times by now. Ugh, petty theft. Yes, but a fat cock.
It's also your boating skills. How you play cricket. Oh, I don't know why that. I don't know why that part cracks me up.
I like it, man.
Killer.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. It's so funny. Beating the shit out of him. And then Sean Bean smiling. They're all kind of laughing at Boris seeing his little silly ass get whooped. Him like struggling to get his glasses on. It's just so funny. So I don't know why, but I got really fascinated in flipping pins around whenever I saw this movie, and I figured out how to do that.
Oh, nice. I get it down to some degree, but I got these sausage link fingers. I fucking...
Oh, it's so good.
Nah.
That's so great, man. The just shit eating, like surprising look on his face.
Yeah.
And then how frantic he is right here trying to fix something he wasn't aware. Hey, idiot, this is what you get for making your fucking password chair.
Right, yeah. You know it's also faster than typing with one hand?
Two
hands. It's incredible. I don't care how fast that one hand is.
He's been waiting to she's been waiting to say that forever.
Yeah.
Shoot him. It doesn't mean nothing to me.
She starts getting into it. She's like, I actually really dig the facial scar. My father had one just like it.
You ever try and keep up with the pin clicks?
Jesus. Whew, no, hell no. I'm about to have a seizure just watching all of them, like all the quick cuts, like looking.
So they're downstairs and he knocks that pin out of his hand, and then the next thing that explodes is the second floor. Ooh, also, that's a crazy ass shot to see all that paper raining down like on fire, like a fuel fire on that computer. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. There's something that just cracks me up that it's like a bunch of 9 to 5 people that work here, and they're all just like, like on fire, and maybe they don't know that what's really going on.
I know.
You could just say
the person collapsing over the chair right there. It's all a little bit like.
I don't know. There's just something about this. Good Lord. There's just something like that ass, dude. I'm sorry. Holy fuck. There's something that cracks me up of all these people who were like eating cake in the break room. Like, oh, it's Bruce's birthday. And they're all just like fucking dying.
Dang. She's probably one of the best Bond girls.
Yeah. Well, of course, it's the final battle. So he's like, okay, stay here now.
I gotta get in my all black costume, kill somebody. That's Alec. That's Alec, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. She gets the helicopter. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say it's my favorite, but God, dude, Cradle was an incredible final mission. Like, that's so good. Especially like how fast Travell. It's like fucking Usain Bolt just running around that cradle. Like, God damn, dude.
Yeah. I feel like, did we do a half review on this movie and half a review on the game essentially as we were going through this?
I mean, I think I can't possibly talk about the movie and not talk about the game because it's like I mean, the game was probably way popular than the film, way more popular than the film.
Man,
like I feel like I feel like the film probably did really well, but like I mean, Goldeneye on N64 is like a benchmark of like gaming, you know, like a serious like games getting pretty fucking crazy.
This dive down the stairs where he does like basically a front flip, like roll over down the rest of those stairs to dodge the bullets is insane to me. Like somebody does that and their leg gets caught on the banister and they keep going.
Dude.
We haven't gotten to it yet. We're about to. I love saying that, I guess, a lot. The fight scene okay. I know you probably haven't seen a lot of the other ones, but I will tell you there are not a lot of fight scenes like this in any other Bond movie that's just totally silent and them just like beating the absolute shit out of each other here in a second. They never recapture that in any other Bond after this, and it's not in anything before this either. Like, I don't know who does the fight choreography for this, but them just being silent and just like punching the air out of each other here in a minute is just really very unique to this film alone. I'll just say that. So this is probably one of my favorite fight scenes of any like Bond film is just Sean Bean and Pierce Brosnan just beating the shit out of each other here.
Yeah, I definitely dig it. And it's just like, and the sound design of just like how big his footsteps sound, like gung, 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 gung. Like, I love the sound design of this movie.
Yeah, him going down the metal ladder. It's just it's always so clean and crisp. Like this.
God, it feels so raw and like two 00 agents fighting each other.
Yes.
Like, God, that's awesome, dude. Well, and it's so personal. You know, they've known each other since they were like kids. Like, holy shit, that's incredible, dude. And it's like it's like, you know, not necessarily a boxing match, but God, it feels like it.
Like the fact that there's little things that don't even play out correctly, that they're just frantically fighting each other against, like him throwing the chain. He shoots the gun at some point in a really random direction because he couldn't get it off. Could you hold on to this if it stopped like that?
I mean, if I knew what was on the other end, yeah, probably. I don't care if I'm breaking my hand holding onto that thing. Like, fucking I'll tie my dick to that ladder, and fucking if it means I'm not going to fall. I am terrified of like a falling a very high height. Like my brother and I talked about that, where he was like, man, I have multiple dreams where I'm asleep, and for some odd reason, like, you know, I'll be in like at home and I open up the door and it's just like a steep drop and I like, and I just like wake up and it's like, yeah, I have those all the time. And it's like, that's really interesting. Like, this is one of the only things that scares the shit out. Like, we have 14-foot light bulbs we have to change in our kitchen. And I have not changed a light bulb in a year and a half. I will not do it.
You need me to come over and change your light bulbs for you?
Fucking you are. Dude, I'll buy you as much crazy bread as you want if you fucking go. I'll make as many PB&Js as you want.
So him kicking him, Sean Bean kicking Pierce Brosnan down the ladder farther, and that stunt guy that essentially like rolls down the ladder vertically. Do you see that? It's like, that's just so crazy. It's a lot of great stunt work in this. Oof. I just remember
this gave me so much anxiety.
See left and see right, trying to stay on that little platform.
Oh my God.
What's his plan here? Push him
Right,
push him down to death?
Him to death? Yeah.
I love this. That's such a clean shot. Him kicking him off and catching him.
Ugh. That's good shit, dude.
Breaks his leg,
God.
it looks like. There's the other dish blowing up.
Well, I remember as a kid just being fucking what? And I remember as a kid, is he still alive? And my dad or my brother being like, not for long. I mean, he's not like, even if this whole thing fell, he would never make it out of that. And that
too much internal bleeding.
Dude, every bone is broken. Your retinas are detached. You're shitting blood out of your ass. Like everything is shutting down. Like your pelvis is in your fucking eardrum. Like everything is done. He dies like 3 times in this movie. Like, fucking hell, man. This is a great shot, though.
That has a very Raiders of the Lost Ark feel to the death scene of him for some reason. The way the camera just comes like super zoomed in on him from like falling down from the sky. Him surviving this is so funny for a second. Is this one of those things where you could walk up to him and just like hit him with a hammer and he would shatter into a trillion pieces? Like liquid nitrogen?
I think, yeah, it's like some Wesley Snipes Demolition Man shit.
I love how this helicopter pilot's like, don't mention me to any reporters, bye!
Right. My wife doesn't know I'm here. She thinks I'm an accountant, bye!
Well, here's where the sequel comes into play. The porno. No.
Yeah. Golden cock, I tickled his penis. Bum, bum, bum.
Marcellus and I used to make fun of that song all the time. We didn't know the words to it, so we would just be like, golden chain hanging from his wallet. We didn't know.
Wow, that's...
All these Marines are about to film them fucking...
Yeah, where
were y'all the whole goddamn time?
Dude, come on, man. Like, good God almighty.
It's like
there are 4 dozen people out there.
I think
and nobody did anything.
There is that maybe they weren't going to get involved if they could avoid it, but then by the very end, he was like, oh, they took care of it.
I would love to see like a small critique. Imagine Trevelyan having like a bunch of foot soldiers, and you have like U.S. Marines fighting foot soldiers on the ground, and they're like, James, go! And it's like, oh, dude, that would be cool. It's like Bane and Batman and Dark Knight Rises, except with like good choreography.
That is a neat idea. There is a little bit of that. There's kind of a bit of that element in You Only Live Twice. That's like one of the earlier ones. They infiltrate like this volcano base. It's probably one of the better Sean Connery ones, honestly. Where they at the very end they infiltrate like his like volcano base, and the Japanese, I think, government is essentially following James Bond in there, and then they end up getting into a war with his henchmen. And so they're like, go after him, we got this. Like exactly what you're saying. It's kind of cool.
Nice.
There we go.
Well, that's it. Yeah, there you go. Moneypenny is Samantha Bond. That's ironic.
Yeah, that always screwed me up at the credits too. But yeah, I don't think any real relation or whatever. So, well, man, I'm really glad that we got to cover this. I'm really surprised that you picked this, but happy that you picked this.
Oh hell yeah! No, I've been and as soon as I because just a peek behind the curtain. A couple of the ideas, I was like, I was thinking Goldeneye or Fifth Element, because I know that's around the same time period. I know we kind of talk about those movies a lot. I know we both like them, but it's been so long. Like episode 83, we're coming up on episode like 2 60.
Wow.
And it's been that long since we covered James Bond. So it was nice to swap it up, do a different James Bond, not do a regular feature presentation, do something a little bit different. I always have fun talking about, especially a movie like this that like was such a big impact on our childhood. So I had a lot of fun.
This is a movie, I think, even if you probably weren't into it, you've probably caught it because other people you knew were watching it or just had seen it or owned it or something. I think this is probably a really classic for people our age, like type of movie that you probably had around the house or whatever. I had a bootleg like VHS version I recorded off of TV one time because we didn't really have like a good like TV station or whatever to use to watch it. But then it wasn't until much later that I like got to see the whole thing, and it's kind of funny how like it works like that. You like the edited version is what I've seen probably a lot, and then you end up having to replace it with what other people were actually seeing the whole time. But anyway, this is one of the ones that ages better.
You're letting your movie play all the way through the credits, right? We're going to play this thing to the end. No, I'm just kidding. It's like, second assistant unit director. That's incredible.
Here in a second, I was going to go through and name every single person. No, I clicked out of it a second ago. But yeah, just as we're kind of like wrapping up, really glad that you picked this. This is it certainly ranks among the highest of any of the Bond movies, just mostly because of the nostalgia and just some of the really cool characters and actors that show up in that one. And it's like relation to the game, of course, it's just huge and kind of like cultural for us. But a second Bond movie that we've covered on here, the first one being Casino Royale. Hopefully I'm not forgetting of another Bond movie that we've covered now because we're getting up.
No, if it's Bond, you're on it. So
yeah, I think this is the second one we've done. So yeah, really, glad you picked this, man. Any last thoughts before we get out of here?
No, man, I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to this episode. Again, stop by, rate and review us on iTunes. If you want to find us on any of our socials, you can find us on Facebook at Midnight Double Feature. We have a group attached to that called the After Party. Everybody's invited where we post our, our reactions to stuff and stuff we're interested in, funny things like that. We're also on Twitter at MDF Pod. We're on Instagram at Midnight Double Feature. And you can always shoot us an email, midnightdoublefeature@gmail.com. Danny, thanks. This was a lot of fun. We'll cover some James Bond again soon, and we'll see you guys on those episodes. Bye.